Okay, so we're going to do a brioche stitch for 2 color, and I have them on circular needles because you have to slide your work to the other side since you're doing a series of slip stitches as well. Double pointed needles would work, but this is a lot easier for me. So to make a selved edge, we're going to slip this stitch, and we are going to do a slip-on yarn over, or YOS. Slip as if to purl with the yarn in front of the work, yarn over, and then we're going to do what's called a brioche knit. So this is our slip stitch with the knit stitch, and we're going to brioche knit these two together. Bring the yarn to the front, YOS, yarn over, and then brioche knit all the way across. Brioche knit, slip as if to purl, brioche knit, slip as if purl, yarn over, brioche knit. And when we get to the end, since we're not working in the round, I'm going to knit the two together to keep the ends nice and tight. And knit the last one to keep the end nice and tight. See, now I have really nice edges. Okay, here's the part that is kind of weird. So since we don't have our other working yarn and we just slipped half of these stitches, we have to use the other color. So you slip it all the way to the other side and you go back. So instead, we still slip this one because we want nice edges. But now, working with our other color yarn, we're going to brioche purl. So if I knitted these, that would be the wrong side. All of these are purls, knits, and then purls. So I'm going to brioche purl these two together, which is just purling with the slip stitch. And then I'm going to do the YOS for this. So slip as if to purl, yarn over, then brioche purl these together. Brioche purl, YOS. And you'll notice that I'm knitting with needles that are smaller for this gauge, and that's because since brioche is so springy, if you knit with larger needles, it's just a little bit too loose, and you don't get this full effect of this awesome type of knitting. And now we can just turn our work and do the same exact thing backwards. So it's on the other side. So now we have these black knits facing us instead of the color knits facing us. And it's basically the exact same thing, except for, and you work with alternating colors. So I just used black, so now I'm going to use the color. So I slip this one to keep it together. And then with the yarn in front, I'm going to slip the black one, yarn over, and knit these two together. So it actually makes sense once you keep going, because why? I don't have anything to knit this one with, so that must be yarn over. And I shouldn't knit this one because then I'd get, these are all purls, so that wouldn't be right either. So if you don't have the pattern right in front of you, if you're doing this in the car or something, you can kind of figure it out. It's not so hard you can't watch TV while you're doing it. What you do is kind of have to pay attention when you start the row to which one you're doing. That's a yarn over, brioche pearl. And slip the first one and knit the last one to keep it nice edging. And now, since again I don't have my other yarn, you move it all the way to the other side. That's why I like the circular needles. And to go back, now I should knit these two since I have black knits. So brioche knit these two, and then slip one, yarn over pearl, brioche knit. And the cast on for this, you can do an Italian cast on. That takes forever for my taste. So I just cast it on with whatever I decided I wanted the main color to be, which in this case was black, and I will show you that in just a second. So the same is for cast on and cast off. If I wanted to cast off right now, I would just do all the blacks and then keep them. And for the cast on edge, I just did a long tail cast on in black to keep it nice. And long tail cast ons are pretty stretchy, and since this is just a really, really awesome squishy work. And that's why you want to knit with needles that are a size or two below, just to keep that awesome squishiness. And all of the pattern up, so you can do something like this. If you were going to do it in the round, you only do the first color, but I will show that in just a second.